your notes that you provided in de facto. So that were very helpful for the last few topics such as trade law, international humanitarian law, terrorism, etc.
Yes, so congratulations again. And
Thank you so much.
I know you have been, for a long time you have been trying, right? So that is
Yes, sir.
something very heartening to see. Right, that is quite good.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this will
Yes.
be, sort of a mark sheet abhi nahi aaya na? I don't think it has come.
I नहीं सर अभी तक नहीं आई.
Maybe tomorrow or day after. Yeah, so what I will be doing is that I will be asking you a series of questions that I, usually do, with every qualified candidates. So what I will be asking you about, how did you prepare different subjects and also your personal journey, specifically your personal journey would be quite important, right? Because there are a lot of
Yes.
people who are stuck in that loophole, right? But you sort of, did it
Yes.
very remarkable, commendable. Okay, so let us start. Sudhir. So first, tell me about yourself, Sudhir.
Sir, my name is Sudhir Pratap Singh Charan. I come from Jodhpur district of Rajasthan. I did my graduation from St. Stephen's College, Delhi University. I did BSc, and thereafter I joined Faculty of Law, Campus Law Center, Delhi University. I've been
Where
preparing for
did you
civil
pass out from
services
Delhi
exam.
University?
Sir, I graduated from St. Stephen's in 2014.
Okay.
Then I did finish my law by 2017, sir.
Okay, so
So,
it have been a long journey, right? So almost 7 years since you are graduate, right? So I know that you have been associated with me, almost
yes,
for 3 years if I count correctly, right?
more
So
than 3 years.
more than 3 years, yes.
More
So
than 3 years.
how sometimes it might have been tiring, sometimes you might have feel like ho gaya yaar, ab chhodte hain, right? But what kept you going?
Sir, I the years when I couldn't qualify mains, in the sense I wrote mains and I couldn't qualify for interview, I missed the cutoff by 10 marks, 15 marks, 20 marks maximum. So I always knew that in an exam where the total is somewhere around 2200 marks, 15, 20 marks is nothing. That can be improved. Uh, so I knew that if I make certain changes, I can cross that barrier and I'll be in the uh, list someday or the other. So that kept me going. I had this confidence. Actually, I took my failure not as a step back. I took it as something like I'm very close to the finishing line. If I make certain changes, if I keep pushing forward, then I will be there.
And basically, somewhere you had this belief कि भाई 20-30 number की बात है ना, you might get in with regard to that.
Yes,
Because
sir.
there are a lot of people which are stuck in that zone, right? But that believe that okay, it will happen, something
Yes.
remarkable. That's good. Now this year again, I perhaps you are preparing for prelims also, right?
सर अभी तो फॉर्म तो भरा है मैंने सो लेट्स सी मे बी आई विल अपीयर.
Just ask. Nothing. Okay.
यस.
So another thing that you are, I think, in this whole 21 students batch, right? Almost around, I think, only 7 or 8 people out of that 3 year course, right? Mostly, 5 year people are there, right? So only
यस सर.
3%, I think, 3 or 4, including you. So why did you opted for law optional instead of your normal graduation subject? What was the cause behind it?
Sir, my graduation was in sciences and they are not at all scoring and they are very lengthy. And the main reason that I took law was I joined law fac, and the first few subjects that they teach in law fac is torts, law of crimes, constitutional law, and all of these subjects I loved reading them in college. So I knew that if I'm going to take an optional from humanities, it is going to be law.
It was almost like
Yes.
predetermined that okay, I'm doing law, I will take law, right? Because
Yes.
we have discussed earlier also, in copy checkings and all that. Sometimes people don't choose law optional because of this fear, right?
Yes.
Scoring नहीं है, number नहीं आता है somewhere. But you have done it. Number आएंगे तो obviously you will have a much better picture that what is the marks that you got, but still. Okay, now let us turn to the subjects, right? First is that constitutional law. So how did you prepare for constitutional law? What are the resources that took into account?
Sir, for constitutional law, I made sure that for each topic, I have handwritten notes so that in any case, if any question is asked from even a small topic, for example, eminent domain, or for example, Panchayati Raj, I should be able to write a good enough answer. Constitutional law, I think, sir, Dukki was very much sufficient for me because I had read constitutional law in college also. So I had a fair amount of idea that which cases are important and what are the important lines in those cases. So I had made kind of exhaustive notes of constitutional law from Dukkis. At the same time, a lot of additions had to be made while we were preparing for the exam. A lot of very important cases were decided by the Supreme Court. So I kept on adding those cases in my notes.
Okay, that's good. It means ki more of a current affairs sort of thing you kept on yourself updated, right? So that
Yes,
is
sir.
fine.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Now, what about international law? How did you handle it?
Sir, international law is something where I could not find a single source for the entirety of 15, 16 topics that we have. Most of the initial few topics I did from a book called, I think, S.K. Kapoor. उसमें सर it up to I think law of the seas, treaties, etc. is covered fairly in a decent amount. And I had to also restrict myself because it is somewhere around 800 to 1000 pages thick. That book is almost too thick. So I had to make sure that I do not make excessive notes out of it. I followed the previous year questions and I made sure that in those topics, at least what has been asked in past 15, 20 years, if the questions are being repeated, I should have an answer for that. Rest of the last 6 to 7 topics that are there, I used internet exhaustively for them, and I also used your notes that you provided in de facto. So that were very helpful for the last few topics such as trade law, international humanitarian law, terrorism, etc.
Yeah, I remember. I think that terrorism question only, right? I gave you a PDF key and isko paro,
Yes,
right? Your answer seems to be in a little bit yes.
yes, sir,
That's good.
yes.
You have incorporated everything. Let the number come, right? And then we will have much clear picture. But I think you have improved because one thing, Sudhir, right? ये थोड़ी सी बुराई हो गई लेकिन फिर भी I think I should say it कि आपकी हैंडराइटिंग की इम्प्रूवमेंट बहुत ज्यादा आपकी रिक्वायरमेंट है, ठीक है? तो बाबा
Yes.
बोलता तो हर एक साल की हैंडराइटिंग के कारण तुम्हारी दिक्कत हो रही है, हैंडराइटिंग के कारण तुम्हारी दिक्कत हो रही है, लेकिन फिर भी
I think that was my Achilles heel that handwriting wise, I was obviously lacking a little. So I tried to improve on it by adding better content and highlighting that, I've written the important thing, even though my handwriting may not be that good, but I've written the relevant content.
And just before this interview, right, रोहित सर से मैं बात कर रहा था, I was saying the same thing कि ना इसकी हैंडराइटिंग खराब थी, अगर इसकी हैंडराइटिंग अच्छी रहती तो आपको टॉप 10 में दिखता है लेकिन
Even
दिख रहा है।
sir helped a lot conclusion वगैरह frame करने के अंदर. Sir का recommendations were also very good, sir.
नहीं नहीं, your content, I also saw it, right? It is really really well done. But the journey that you have went through, that is something remarkable, no doubt.
Thank you, sir.
अच्छा, so what about paper 2, especially the CLD portion? How did you cover CLD?
सर CLD इज लाइक मतलब वो समंदर है उसमें कितना भी करते जाओ देर इज नो एंड टू इट बट आई थिंक व्हाट आई observed a certain change in CLD over the years that from very traditional questions they are moving towards much more detailed in-depth questions in CLD. So I think if you can identify very important topics within CLD, जैसे कि IT Act से almost every year they ask questions. IPR से almost every year they ask 1 or 2 questions. So you identify the topics and you identify the important parts of those topics. For example, in trademark, if you're not doing passing off, then you are lacking in your preparation. So I think PYQ, अगर आप देख के क्योंकि almost now 10 years have been passed since CLD has been included in the course, so you can get a fair amount idea that in PYQ, CLD wise, the topics are being asked are this.
Repeated
I
question.
think few topics, for example, environment law is too exhaustive. There is no point going too much in depth there. You should have a basic understanding of the laws, very basic provisions, and lot of GS preparation can help you in writing answers for environmental law. Rest of the part, I think a cursory reading of the Bare Act of individual laws in CLD will help a lot, sir.
Okay, that's wonderful.
ऑल्सो सर आपके नोट्स काफी काम आए थे इसके अंदर,
अच्छा
सीएलडी।
वो सीएलडी वाली, या
मैंने आपसे इस साल लिए थे एग्जाम से जस्ट पहले, तो दैट हेल्प्ड अ लॉट बिकॉज दे वर
राइट।
फ्रेम्ड इन अ वेरी स्पेसिफिक मैनर.
Only the important points so that you should be able to write at least 10, 20, 10, 15 mark question in that, right?
In CLD portion you don't have to aim for 70% marks, you have to aim for 50% marks at least, कि इतना आ जाना चाहिए.
Okay. Acha. Now, what about contract? And specifically, tell me about obviously the contract, the ordinary normal, contract act provision, but a specific contract, right? Special contracts such as sales of goods, NI. What are the things that you studied, or what are the planning that you keep nahi padenge or sab kuch chhod denge? Because these are also very comprehensive laws, right? So, how did you go about that?
आई थिंक सर स्पेसिफिकली पार्टनरशिप और सेल ऑफ गुड्स वगैरह में द इम्पॉर्टेंट approach should be to identify the basics. For example, what is a partnership is a question which is repeated almost alternate year.
If there is
Secondly,
a question for partnership, this will be the question,
yes,
right?
and if any other question is being going to be asked, it is going to be related to rights and obligations, be it partnership, be it sale of goods, be it agency. इसमें इन तीनों में कहीं ना कहीं आपसे राइट्स एंड ऑब्लिगेशंस ऑफ आइदर पार्टी कैन बी आस्क्ड. तो उधर यू शुड नो द राइट्स. एटलीस्ट 7-8 पॉइंट आपने रट लिए हैं उसके, और आपने उसके सेक्शंस कुछ कुछ याद कर लिए हैं, तो दैट इज गोइंग टू हेल्प यू स्कोर अ लॉट ऑफ एक्स्ट्रा मार्क्स. इट इज गोइंग टू बी अ लिटिल tiring to ratify everything in those rights and obligation, but I think it is worth the effort because a single 15 mark question on this can put you on the edge. You can score 70% marks in those.
Okay, that's good. Now, what about law of crime? How did you study? Which books that you referred for that?
Sir, since मेरी preparation has been almost law optional wise has been self ही mostly. I've been only referring to Dukki's. Crime में भी Dukki was almost sufficient, but for certain questions that have been asked in past few years, I observed that Dukki may not be sufficient enough, क्योंकि वो कुछ topics अच्छे से discuss नहीं किए. तो जैसे रतनलाल आई रेफर्ड फॉर वेरी फ्यू टॉपिक्स. फॉर एग्जांपल अबेटमेंट के लिए आई रेफर टू रतनलाल. कुछ स्टेटमेंट वाइज क्वेश्चंस होते हैं जो अभी लास्ट 1-2 साल में रिपीट हुए हैं सर, वो डायरेक्ट स्टेटमेंट वहां रतनलाल से ही किसी केस में से ली हुई थी. तो बहुत स्पेसिफिक चीजों के लिए मैंने उसको रेफर किया, बाकी मोस्टली इट वाज दुखी. उधर से ही मैंने तैयारी करी थी सर.
अच्छा, एक चीज और, जैसे यू आर ग्रेजुएट, राइट? सो व्हेन डिड यू स्टार्टेड एक्चुअली प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर यूपीएससी, राइट, इंक्लूडिंग लॉ एंड एवरीथिंग? थर्ड ईयर में, या पास होने के बाद, या ग्रेजुएशन के समय ही शुरू कर लिया था? मतलब व्हाट वाज द टाइम दैट यू स्टार्टेड?
सर सो सिंस माय फादर वाज इन सर्विस, बच्चों को होता है कि अच्छा सर्विस में ही आगे जाना है. सो आई न्यू बाय क्लास 12 दैट आई एम गोइंग टू अपीयर समवेयर इन नेक्स्ट 3 or 4 years इन फॉर यूपीएससी. तो मैं कॉलेज टाइम से ही ऑलमोस्ट मेरे दिमाग में था कि अपीयर होना है इन सेंट स्टीफेंस में ही. तो 2015 आई थिंक वाज माय फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट.
ओके।
कॉलेज से तुरंत फ्रेश निकलते ही विद इन लाइक आई थिंक 1 year आई अपीयर्ड फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम. और फिर उधर से मैं कंटिन्यूअसली हर साल अपीयर कर ही रहा था 2015 से लेके ऑलमोस्ट 2021 तक. और 2016 से हर साल मैंने मेंस लिखा है. तो प्रिपरेशन मेरी जो है मेरे लॉ फैक वाले पीरियड के साथ कोइंसाइड कर रही थी सर पूरे टाइम. मतलब मैंने उस टाइम पे भी दिए हैं मेंस.
मतलब ऑलमोस्ट जो है आपने पहले से प्री डिसाइड कर लिया था कि भाई वैसे में जाना है, पापा ऑलरेडी आपके सर्विस में।
जी जी
दैट्स
जी.
गुड, दैट्स गुड। Okay, so very long journey, right? But really, your message specifically, भाई जो पहले सेकंड दूसरे तीसरे अटेम्प्ट में होता है, ठीक है, that's okay. I mean, also there are good candidates, but you have literally, sort of मतलब खींच के लाया कि भाई मुझे करना है, right?
मैंने
So
सर खींच के
बहुत मेहनत किया आपने। मैं
आई
एग्जाम
I
दूंगा।
think, sir, if I can, for people who have given a lot of mains and they have not been able to qualify for interview, I think a single thing that I would suggest is, okay, take a break, go to your mark sheet, identify why you are not scoring more. अगर आपके जीएस में मार्क्स कम रह रहे हैं तो आप देखिए कि आप आंसर्स सही से नहीं लिख पा रहे हैं, इस वजह से शायद आपको मार्क्स कम मिल रहे हैं. मैं हमेशा सोचता था सर कि अरे यार यूपीएस व्हेन आई वाज नॉट क्वालिफाइंग फॉर इंटरव्यू, मुझे लगता था कि यार मेंस की मार्किंग तो लक बाय चांस है, और इसके अंदर मैंने जितना पढ़ लिया उसके बाद में और कुछ बचा नहीं है, अब लिखने वाले का मतलब क्या कर सकते हैं. But over the years, I realized that it is not luck. It is going to be calculated approach. You have to show the examiner that yes, I have addressed all the parts of the question. Yes, I have given the relevant examples. Yes, I have framed my answer in a way that you can identify these parts easily. तो इसमें आंसर राइटिंग के अलावा और कोई ट्रिक नहीं है. आपको लिखना पड़ेगा. पढ़ो कम, लिखो ज्यादा. आपके पास पढ़ने के लिए बहुत सामान है, बट आप यू हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई व्हाट नॉट टू रीड, बट राइट एज मच एज यू कैन. इस साल मैंने काफी लिखा सर. आई थिंक आई ऑल्सो रोट ऑल दी टेस्ट, गॉट
इस
चेक.
लेवल नहीं लिखा था आपने, मैंने कहा भी था आपको कि आपने छोड़ दिया था इसलिए कम नंबर है,
मैं
लेकिन
दिस इज अ ट्रैप विच ऑल यू मतलब मेंस एस्पिरेंट गेट इनटू, दैट या तो कोर्स फिनिश कर ले या आंसर लिख लें, दोनों चीजें एक साथ नहीं हो पाती है. तो मैं उनको यही सजेस्ट करूंगा, कोर्स कभी कंप्लीट नहीं होगा आपका. कोर्स इतना वास्ट है कि फिजिकली इम्पॉसिबल है आपको वो 3 महीने में कंप्लीट करना. आप लिखें, आप उसको लिख लिख के रोज इंप्रूव करें. आप रोज के सिर्फ 5 सवाल भी अगर लिख रहे हैं दिन के, दैट इज गोइंग टू exponentially increase your marks, and I am the example for that. I missed my final cutoff in 2021 by 40 marks, and this year I have probably increased my score to maybe 40 marks above the cutoff. So I think the difference has been almost 80 marks. तो मेंस का और कोई सोल्यूशन नहीं है. आपको लिखने पड़ेंगे, आंसर्स लिखने पड़ेंगे, एंड गेट इट चेक, गेट इट इवेल्युएटेड पर्सनली. जहां पर भी आपको पर्सनल इंटरेक्शन मिल रहा है उससे बेटर कुछ नहीं है.
हम्म,
इवन सर आप जैसे बैठ के बताते थे कि देखो बेटा, मैं तुमने आंसर बहुत अच्छा लिखा है, बट इफ आई एम नॉट एबल टू आइडेंटिफाई दैट यू मेंशन्ड द पार्ट्स, that you have addressed all the parts of the question, I'm not going to give you marks.
that is also, if you think about it, right, कि I have suppose 20 copy to check, 30 copy to check, right, और उसमें I will not do this work on my side कि मैं खोजूं आपने कौन कहाँ लिखा है. You have to sort of परोसना पड़ेगा ऐसे कि भाई मैंने सब लिख दिया, आप देख लीजिए थोड़ा सा, बस एक झलक में दिखना है. That is
बिल्कुल
that
सर.
is something good. Okay. So Sudhir, so now you have finally you have made it to that very holy PDF, I say, right? The most
Yes.
holiest PDF of
Yes sir.
this preparation, right? Now, what you are, I mean, the final message that you want to give to the people, that okay, the candidates specifically, that yes, how to go about it, how to sort of uh, go through that whole long and arduous journey, because I have seen also UPSC reports ideally take 3 to 4 years, right? The height it peaks is 29, 30 years, at 28 to 29. That is the highest, people qualify in terms of percentage, right? So obviously people are normally graduate at 24, 23, they are normally graduate, right? So almost it is a journey of 5, 6 years normal, right? Except some brilliant students, obviously they have a very good track record. But in that case, what they should do, right? So do go for any hobby, or should do they start doing some job, or keep themselves occupied once the syllabus is over and preparation is over? I mean, what is the correct method that you adopted?
Sir, I think preparation wise, if I have to say, you have to be consistent. Consistency के बिना you cannot achieve the goal. You can study 12 hours, 14 hours for 2 days and then take a break of for 5 days and then go back to studying for 4 5 days again. That is not going to help. Study consistently. If you can study 6 hours, 7 hours, that is more than enough. इसमें उससे ज्यादा की जरूरत है नहीं. Secondly, be honest to yourself that are you doing what is required for this exam? Are you writing the answers? Are you solving the MCQs for prelims? If you are not going to be honest with yourself, you cannot improve. Thirdly, uh, have a support system, sir. I had a very good bunch of friends who were always uh, motivating me. I had a friend, Sandeep, who was my classmate in Stephens. और उसने इस साल मेरे को बैठा के हर दिन के 5 आंसर लिखेगा, मैं तेरे आंसर चेक करूंगा और मैं तुझे बताऊंगा कि क्या गलत है इसके अंदर, कुछ जो भी इम्प्रूवमेंट्स हो सकते हैं. तो हैव समवन हु इज गोइंग टू बी विथ यू थ्रू द जर्नी. इट इज वेरी लोनली. You should have a support system family wise or friends wise. Do not isolate yourself. Baki, having a career backup is always going to be beneficial. It is not the end of your life if you don't clear this exam. There are very good opportunities available otherwise in other areas, government and private, but you should always have a career backup option.
But law, there is always a career option, right? Available that, okay,
Yes,
you
sir.
done this well.
I registered for in the bar in 2017 itself. So I was comfortable in my mind that if nothing is going to work out, I'll go back to Jodhpur and I'll practice in the High Court.
Wow. Perfect
So
career option. That would also have been not bad actually, right? Between
not
the
bad
two.
actually, sir.
Yes, that's very good. Actually, to that ends our discussion, Sudhir. So thank you very much. And I will request you again that if you are in around and once the mark sheet comes, so do
Bilkul.
come and give a sort of 1 hour or so lecture to the students actually, right? The students who are there of the foundation and the other batches. I will also call everyone so that they can hear you because normally student feel more comfortable with the recently successful candidates, right? They could
Yes.
attach themselves more, right? So you can come and sort of give them half hour or so talk that okay how to go about it. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.